I obviously take the dust jacket off to read because I'm not a monster, and if those dust jackets get damaged, I will cry. Hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten, and I've decided to start a weekly vlog, technically before I finished the last weekly vlog, but I have almost finished the book that I'm reading for that, and I'm literally just waiting to finish it up before I wrap up that vlog, which I'm not sure if I'm going to be wrapping it up today or if it's going to be tomorrow, but I have work tomorrow, early morning, and with the way the lighting is being lately, I have good lighting right now, so I figured let's start this video and also look a bit more presentable, because let's face it, if I started this tomorrow after an early shift, I'm going to look haggard and tired. So this is what we're dealing with. But I am really enjoying this book, but check out last week's vlog if you're interested in what that book is. It's very good. This week video, I do already know the ebook that I'll be reading for this week. I did a poll on my Instagram as to what ebook I will be reading, and Wicked King got chosen. There was 3 to choose from. We had Blood Mercy, Children of Forgotten Gods, which is the second book in the series, and Wicked King. Wicked King won, so that's what we're going to go with. Apparently this is the more favourite book out of the trilogy for everyone, so I'm really intrigued how I'm going to get on with it. I do enjoy it. In this book we are following Jude. Jude is human, but she lives in the Fae world, and in the first book she had to do a lot of political manoeuvring just to survive, and it's so interesting. I really enjoyed it. I put this book off for ages because I thought it was just a typical YA enemies to lovers tropey story, and I just wasn't feeling it, to be honest. Then I read it and it's really not that at all. It's so good. It's great for political intrigue. I think it's a great stepping point if you want to go into adult fantasy that deals with a lot of politics and stuff. This is a great one to start with if you're interested but don't want to tackle adult yet. And there is some enemies to lovers, but it's such a tiny amount. I am expecting more of it in this book, but I don't mind that because we've had the book to get to know our characters and see them develop, and I just really enjoyed it. Surprising how much I enjoyed Cruel Prince. But the physical book should be The Traitor by Seth Dickinson, or The Traitor Barack Cameron if you're in the US. I don't like this cover. We know I don't like this cover. Let's just not talk about it. And this is the only book I've got left on my January TBR, which is really surprising for me and really good, because lately, the last few months, my TBRs were not doing it. But 2023, we've started off strong. However, as much as I really want to read this book, this is a political adult fantasy, so it's going to be really interesting how I see about that, especially when I've got a YA political fantasy on the go. Very intrigued by this one. However, I did recently buy Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett, and I have been looking forward to this book so goddamn much. There is a load of dogs. Hang on, let me close my window. Okay, whether that helped or not, I don't know, but the window's now closed. And yeah, this is beautiful. I love this cover so much. I'm so intrigued. So many reviews. People are saying how much they love it and how interesting they found it and how it's a new cozy fantasy. Yeah, I have to. So in all honesty, I think I'm going to pick this one up, and then hopefully, because it doesn't seem like a long book. Let's see, how many pages are we? 315. However, it does say that there's going to be a book 2, which is so exciting. Oh my god, I can't wait. So excited for that. But yeah, so only 300 pages, which isn't long at all, so I feel like I could definitely get that finished and then start The Traitor. So that's the plan. So, you know, another good reason as to why I started this vlog today instead of finishing the other vlog and then starting this one afterwards. Animal Crossing. I have not been able to play it all of last week. Barely played it. I was so upset. I haven't logged in probably a week. My villagers are missing me, and I've had 2, well, hopefully should have had 2 new villagers at this point, filling up some houses that I had to fill. And we have to know what they are. And I've brought you on this journey, so I can't go and see them for the first time and not film that and not have that for you to see. Whether they're actually going to be there or not, I don't know. But another thing I'm also thinking to do is to start cooking now. That's the plans. We've got lots of plans, and so I was sitting here procrastinating, and I was thinking, actually, you know what, it's better I just start this vlog because of how this is all lining up, and that way you get the cooking portion, you hopefully get to see a new villager if we have one in Animal Crossing. Fingers crossed I get some time to do that this afternoon. I can't see why not. Like, literally, the plan is, the only plan I had for today was editing a video, which is up and done, finishing this book, cooking, and Animal Crossing. Like, that was it. So fingers crossed we can do all of those things, and then tomorrow I will update you with probably my initial thoughts on Wicked King. And I wouldn't have started one of these books yet, I don't think, unless I do this evening, but I doubt it. I think I'm going to be starting these tomorrow after work, so maybe I won't update you tomorrow, maybe it'll be Tuesday after work. Who actually knows? In case you can't tell, bit of chaotic energy going on right now. I'm actually quite tired, which is good because I need to sleep early, but it's been a good day. It's been productive. I've done so many things. I feel so much better. I've just had a day to actually catch up on everything. This is the problem. So like a couple weeks ago, I did some night shifts, and because you do 7 in a row and I only had one day off and then I was back at work, I haven't had a chance to do anything to catch up. So I had mess everywhere, and I had a video that needed uploaded and doing for the day that was meant to go out, which is not me at all. I normally am way more organised and have it all up to, I just haven't. So I'm so excited that I've been able to have this day to catch up, and then at the end of this week, next week, I have a week off, which hallelujah, we're needing that. Anyway, this has been such a rambly introduction. I hope you're all doing well. I hope that you're all happy, and remember to take 5 minutes for yourself, because I always forget. So make sure you do it. Do it for me. Like, let's do that. Anyway, right, okay, I'm gonna go catch up with you at some point, and I may or may not have read something. I think it might depend on whether the villagers are in, because if I'm upset about those, you're gonna have to deal with that and that rant. Like, we're just gonna have to. But yeah, right, okay, I'm gonna go. We need to talk about a duck. Yes, she is not a pig or a crocodile, but she really is a creepy duck. Like, have we seen? She does look creepy. Like, I sent a picture of her to my partner to show him the villager that I got. Even he went, that scared the crap out of me. And she is. I know she's trying hard, but there's something just creepy about her. So that was the first villager of this week that we got. There will be a new villager when I log on today, so we're gonna see. At this point, yeah, there is no hopes. Like, I said it before, but seriously, no hopes. Like, what? So that's that bit done. That's the Animal Crossing news. We have a duck that looks genuinely terrifying. On to reading news, I think. I've left my phone over there. Pretty sure I'm up to chapter 9, 8 or 9 of Wicked King by Holly Black, and I'm really enjoying this book. It kicks straight off with the politics where we left it at the end of the first book, and how Jude is having to deal with everything that she managed to do. You can kind of argue that she won at the end of that book, but the reality is that comes with a lot of political things that she now needs to try and juggle at the same time, as well as keeping everyone in the dark about what's really going on. And I'm loving it. I'm loving the intrigue. I'm loving the plot and how she's gonna have to try and deal with all this. I can't wait to see it develop. And again, the hate to lovers or enemies to lovers romance in this is such a small part. I can't believe how hyped up this romance is It's one of the biggest enemies to lovers romances. Like, if you say enemies to lovers in fantasy, people say Cardan and Jude. And, like, I get it, but also it's not that deep. Like, the quotes that I've seen from this, because let's face it, if you're going on TikTok or Instagram or things like that, there's going to be quotes, there's pictures, there's quotes, and they are so out of context, it's unreal. Like, I was expecting the romance to play such a bigger part of this, and while sure you can argue it's there in the wings, it's not actually developed, it's not actually there. Like, this is the most slow burn romance ever. I am loving it. Don't get me wrong, do not take this as I'm not enjoying it, because I am loving it. I'm just surprised, because it was the biggest thing that put me off about this book, and I really feel like if it was explained more that this is a political YA fantasy with a slow burn enemies to lovers, I would have been there. But that's not what gets explained. And I don't understand how that wasn't explained. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's fun, it's quick and easy. I'm reading it while I'm at work, and it's perfect for that. It just is, okay? It just is. I'm loving it. So yeah, very, very pleased with that book, actually. So enjoying it so much more than, I mean, I said that about Cruel Prince. I knew I was going to enjoy this because I enjoyed Cruel Prince, and everyone says that Wicked King is the better book. But yeah, just in general, this series I'm enjoying. I think it's really good. And do you know another book that I'm really enjoying that's also got fairies in it? Okay, well, that didn't help at all. Ta-da! We have the dust jacket, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I obviously take the dust jacket off to read because I'm not a monster, and if those dust jackets get damaged, I will cry. I'm loving this book. It's so good. Oh my god. Okay, I'm not even far into it. I didn't read much yesterday. I got up to page 45. I can't give you a chapter specifically because the way this is set up is as journal entries. So I'm up to the 28th of October. This book is perfect to read in the winter. There is a amazing winter setting. It's snowy, there's ice everywhere, it's so good. This book is set really far north. Is it Scandinavia or it's one of those sort of countries where it's really far north, there's ice and snow everywhere, and we have Emily who has gone to this remote village in the hunt of fairies. It is great. I'm enjoying it so much, and I really am. Okay, Kirsten, we need to actually formulate thoughts here, please. This book is great. That was the first sentence that came out. We've already said that. Okay, try again. I'm enjoying this. Again, I've said that, but it's so good. It's one of those books that I read the first paragraph and knew instantly that this was going to be a new favourite book. It has the perfect setting. I love Emily as a character. She's awkward and a bit of a recluse, and she prefers staying in and studying with her books and everything to going out, but she also loves being out in the field, exploring the wilderness, looking for fairies. She just hates interacting with people, and same, can relate so much. I genuinely, I have a tolerance of where I can get to for interacting with anyone, and it's not that high, people. It's just, but it's great. It's great. I love that as a quirk about her as a character. We're getting to know her academic rival. He's sent a letter and she talks about him a lot, and she has a theory about him which is so hilarious and so endearing, and I cannot wait to see if that's actually true. And just in general, this book, like, the setting is fantastic. There's footnotes. There are footnotes in this book which I am loving. Okay, so actually, let me give you a bit of better context. So we have journal entries. Emily's decided to keep a journal detailing her visit to this village and her exploration of noting down the different fairy types, because this is going to be the last chapter of her encyclopedia. She is making the first and only comprehensive encyclopedia of all the different fae creatures, and this visit is meant to be the last one of undocumented fae that she's very excited for, but she wants to keep a journal to keep up to date with what she's doing on a daily basis, and also helpful to refer back to. As a result, she is putting little footnotes into her works to cite where she got different information from, because she will give you information about the Fae world and their customs and things, and she will cite if that information came from somebody else, so somebody else's work or a different book that she's read, she will cite that, and also a couple of notes on the author as in general, or what she thinks of those works, whether she agrees with it or not. And I find that fascinating. There's something about it that I just really like. It really works, and I'm loving this book so much. It actually reminds me a little bit, I know you're going to get fed up of seeing this book, but A Natural History of Dragons, because this was a memoir by Lady Trent all about her travels and documenting dragons, and this is a journal from Emily documenting the Fae creatures, and I love it for that. I think the correlations between the two are perfect. So yeah, if you liked one, try the other, vice versa. I know I've spoken about this book so many times. I really am loving Emily as a character. All I wanted to do was keep reading it yesterday, but obviously I had to go to bed at a reasonable time for work. All I want to do is curl up with a cup of tea and read this book. That is all I want to do. I can't, because I actually have to have a shower and edit and cook and be an adult. But if I had a choice, this is all I would be doing. It's so good. I'm so pleased I picked it up. I feel bad for The Traitor because I've been meaning to read that and I've been excited to read it, but this is perfect. I'm also really enjoying the fact that the Fae creatures in this, and also in The Wicked King, aren't your usual elf creatures, so like beautiful with pointed ears. They're actually different and unique, and some of them are creepy and some of them are beautiful, and I just really love that. And I feel like having those two books it's just really good to get that different side to it. This book feels more like a folklore story that I'm being told, and I really like that. Then Wicked King is kind of a bit more, I don't know, less story-like feel to it, like an old story. I don't know if I've done that well, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying both books. I'm enjoying both looks at fairies and how different authors approach it, and I find it so fascinating. So yeah, can't wait to get back to this. And that's it. That was a really long update, but I think that's what happens when I'm enjoying both books. It's so good. Or if I have a book that I'm really not enjoying, I can talk to you about all those bits. When I just have an okay book, I find it really hard to talk about, because I'm like, what can I say about this? How can I expand on it? How can I, it doesn't get the thoughts going. I'm just like, yeah, it's an okay book, and that's it. Anyway, right, I don't know why I've rambled about that. You know this, like if you've been watching these videos for a while, then you would know that, but not the point. Right, as I said, I do actually have a list of things to do, and I want to get on and do them as fast as possible so I can get back to reading this book, because it's just so good, as I've said about 50 times. Moving on, I'm going to go and we're going to see what villager I've got as well. That has to be done today. I'm not going to play Animal Crossing for long because I do want to read more today. We have to see that villager, so probably that's going to be the next thing you see. It's not going to be good. I feel like I have sat in the same position to vlog all week, but I don't care, I'm not changing it. Plus, actually, at this time of day, because it's the afternoon now, this is the place that gets the best lighting because my window is literally here. It also goes in and out because of the clouds, which is definitely doing because it's a very cloudy day. But in the corner, as much as I love it, it is a lot darker there and it's just hassle. Why am I telling you that? I don't know. But we have a few updates, so let's get Animal Crossing out of the way first, seeing as that's the only thing that I filmed as like a B-roll thing for you. And that is, we have a new villager. We have the very last villager, and to be fair, she's not as bad as it could have been. Let's face it, we have had some ones in this time and it could have been a lot worse. And so overall, the villagers is complete now. It's actually done, and so all I need to do is like finish the game, and then it will unlock the fact that I can then terraform and design my island exactly how I want. I'm realising how chaotic my hair is looking, but I have just come inside and it's windy and wet and just, this is what we've got. Anyway, back to the villagers. So they're done. We have them all. So we have the 2 pigs, which if you've watched that vlog, you know how I feel about the pigs. We also have 2 crocodiles, which, yeah, one of them was the starter one, and then one was just a new villager, and at that point I just wanted to cry because I was getting none of the villagers that I wanted. And then at the point of the 2 birds, I've given up. I mean, they are 2 different types of birds, but we gave up on hoping that we'd get anything good on a random generator. And then we have the last 2, Renee I started off with, and then Millie? Is it I really should have checked their names. But the second one that I actually chose and I'm quite happy with. I managed to find her on an island and bring her to mine. So those are all the villagers. You can probably tell what 6 are going to get changed. When that actually does happen, when I get the amiibo or abemote, some cards that you can use, you will find out and you will see who I choose for this island, and I'm so excited for it. So yeah, I've never done the card thing, obviously because I don't have them, but I'm very excited and excited to actually start being able to decorate the island and do all this stuff. I've been hoarding loads of items. I have this whole section of my island that's just filled with random items for things, but yeah. That's not the point. We don't need to go on more of a Animal Crossing tangent, but I'm happy with it. I'm glad that we're at that point now where I can just start finishing off this part of the game. Okay, right, moving on. Book news. What have I been reading? So I have made progress with Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I'm now up to page 158. We're on the 19th of November and quite a lot has happened. I'm really enjoying it. I like the interactions that we get with the fairy world and how much we learn about them. And as I say, Emily as a character and all of her quirks I really like. Wendell, I think I mentioned that he arrived and she was not best pleased with this, but it's also really fun seeing them interact. I heard someone say that this is like enemies to lovers, and I wouldn't say it's enemies. I would say they're just like, they antagonize one another, they have fun ribbing each other and going across and stuff, but I would say that they are friends. And even Emily says that he is her only friend, and I love seeing their interactions together and just seeing that all develop. I think it's really, really cute and lovely, and I'm just really enjoying this book. I'm loving the setting, everything I already said. It's just got better in my opinion. Like, I'm just loving it, and there is a bit more of a plot theme, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see where that goes. We've had a couple of people go missing in the village. Emily's volunteered to help, which is very unlike her, as she does admit that if it weren't for the fact that she gets to follow and look into fairies while she does this, she probably wouldn't, because she is not a people person. But it's just really interesting. I love seeing that interaction and everything about it. So yeah, loving this book. And then The Wicked King. Oh my gosh, I'm so enjoying this. It's so good. If you can hear that, there's seagulls. I am up to chapter 24, page 243. It has more pages in the ebook, obviously, because it's the size of my phone. I'm loving this though. It's so good. There has been so much that happens, and in all honesty, all I want to do is finish the book today, because I don't have long left. I have less than 100 pages of the ebook left to go, so it's not going to take me long at all, and I really want to. But I'm also thinking I do have work tomorrow, so I could just, you know, carry on doing what I've been doing, which is reading it at work. But at the same time, when you are at work, see, I've got to stop and I've got to do my job and stuff. And I know when I get into this, like the points that it's at, I don't want to stop. I don't want to be interrupted while I'm reading this. And so that's why I'm thinking, do I just finish it here tonight? Because it's so good. There's so much that's happened and I love it. I mean, it's all the things that I've already said. I'm loving the politics of all of this. Now, I will say in the start of this book, there was some very heavy-handed foreshadowing of what's going to happen with Jude and the fact that she's spinning all these plates and it's going to come crashing down. But I don't mind it. I can't remember if I've said this or not, but I really don't mind that at all. And we're at the point where things are starting to come crashing down around her, and I cannot wait to see how she deals with it. And it really makes me want to get the third book. Unfortunately, the third book's not available on Kindle Unlimited, but I do want to get a physical copy of these books because I think it'd be really fun to annotate, just to have as like a go-to when I'm feeling that YA fantasy. I can pick up those. But this brings me on to some life news. You can get a box set of the 3 Folk of the Air trilogy books, so Cruel Prince, The Wicked King, and I think it's The Queen for Nothing. You can get those, and I think it's only £20. It is from Amazon. But the only thing is I was watching a video that Christina did yesterday. I will have her channel linked below. She does book reviews, but not only does she do book reviews, she also does like clothing hauls, and she was doing her video that she does at the end of each year, a wrap up of everything she bought in that year. So she did a wrap up of all the clothing and shoes that she bought, and she did a tally of how much she spent, because she's been on a low spending challenge, and she was tallying up, and at the end of it she said how much she had spent, and she was like, that's still quite a lot, that she wants to do better. And I'm sitting there going, wow, that's really not that much, like if I compare it to what I spend, I mean. And I was talking to my partner about it, and I was like, oh, I do spend a lot, because she also then included books at the very end, and I'm in awe of how she does it. It's so impressive, because if we just took into account the amount I spent in books, I probably beat her by a landslide, let alone clothes and shoes. So I was talking to my partner about this, and he's just as bad, to be fair. And we've decided that we want to do this year a low spending on particular items. So on, for me, clothing, shoes and books, not other things, because obviously we don't want to be ridiculous, and we are hoping to like move and stuff, fingers crossed. I haven't really mentioned it on here. I'm really nervous too, because I don't want to say it and it be jinxed, but like obviously we'll need to buy stuff for that to at least not keep spending on clothes and shoes, and in my case books. So yeah, that's what we decided to do. We're not doing it for January because we both already spent. I've bought stuff, he's bought, like we've said, from the 1st of February to the 31st of December, let's see who can do it and who can spend the least amount of money. We have to turn it into a competition, otherwise we will just give up. Like, we're too competitive. So if we have this competition, I want to beat him, so, and he wants to beat me, so, but that does mean me wanting to go, I really want to get these books, but also I have to do it before February. If I'm gonna get these books, I need to do it before February, because otherwise it's gonna count to him, and I already have some books that are pre-ordered that's coming out on the 14th of February, and that's gonna be a lot of money, so he's already got quite a bit of a head start. Again, I haven't really talked about those books. I can't wait to get those and haul those. Oh my god, I'm so excited for those. It's the Throne of Glass new hardback books. I treated myself to the whole series, so I have those on pre-order, so that's going to be a lot of money. It's going to be a thing. So anyone, look, family, if you're watching this and you want to know what I want for my 30th birthday, book vouchers, because that way I can spend it on the things that I want that I'm not allowed to spend my own money on. So please, I know you don't normally do the book vouchers, but please. This is chaotic energy. I don't know where it's come from because I was really tired, but that's the plan. And that was a really weird tangent. What was I even talking about? Wicked King. Oh yeah, so I'm really enjoying the book and I really want to get the physical copies, and I don't want to stop reading the series. Like, it would be amazing to actually finish a series this early in the year, because I'm terrible for that. And I also really want to know what's going to happen, and I feel like the Wicked King, is it going to end on a bit of a cliffhanger? I don't know. Really intrigued. I really can't wait. But yeah, anyway, that's it. This was a long update. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go. I'll leave you to it. Please just stop talking, Kirsten. You don't know what you're saying anymore. Good morning. I feel so good today. It makes such a difference having such a nice sleep. Not that you needed to know that. What you do need to know is that I finished Wicked King and loved it. I adored this book. It was so good. I loved the ending, the twist that happened I did not see coming, and I feel like I should have. I feel like I should have seen that coming, but I just didn't. It was so good. I desperately want to get the next book now. I really want to continue. Like, I don't even want to wait. I just want to continue, and I am tempted to do just that because The Queen of Nothing is available on Kindle and it's only $4.99, so I may just pick it up. I know I said yesterday I want to get the box set of the books, and I very much do, but I am also thinking, I've just read the first 2 books. I'm not going to reread them anytime soon. Probably not in the next like 6 months to a year's time. It's really fun and it's a great light little series to read through, and I do enjoy it and I do want to reread it and annotate it. But like I said, that's not going to happen anytime soon, so I think getting the box set now I don't think is necessary. And the whole point of my partner and I trying to do this low buy challenge is so that I don't spend. And that doesn't mean I use January as an excuse to then buy everything that I want, because that's just ridiculous. So I'm not going to. Instead, I think I'm going to get the Kindle version of The Queen of Nothing, potentially do that today, because I still have work today, I have work on Sunday, so I'm feeling that that will be really nice just to read for while I'm at work. And I want to do it, basically. I'm not finished with this world. I need to know what happens. I need to know what Jude is going to do next, and I love it. Though I will say, this whole romance thing, the bit that everyone goes crazy for, where is it? Like, don't get me wrong, there are parts of it there, but it's not the focus of these books at all, like by no means. So I'm so confused how it's blown so out of proportion that that's all people talk about. And it's like, but there's so much more to these books. Why are we not talking about that? Anyway, beside the point. Point is, I'm going to get Queen of Nothing. There is also The King Who Learned to Hate Stories, or something. That book, I think it's a prequel about Cardan. That's available on Kindle Unlimited. And there's also like a little novella about Jude's sister, which apparently gives a bit of explanation into why she does the things that she does. And I also want to read that as well. Basically, I just want to read all of it. I want all of it. So I think that's what I'm going to do. It's been great. I've loved it. And yeah, just, yes, it's so good. And I can't believe it. I mean, I have to say, as much as I've said that no one really focuses on the other things, Sylvie over at TBR Diaries, she did a recent reread of the series and she did talk about that, and even she mentioned the fact that the romance side of this does get way bigger than what it is. Again, I still haven't read the last book, so it could get a lot bigger, but definitely in these first two books, there's little moments of it, but there's not loads. But yeah, so I really enjoyed it, and honestly it was thanks to Sylvie that I've kind of got on this train. I'm just enjoying it. It's so good. I'm loving it. But I do also have a bit of book mail because after I updated yesterday I had some deliveries. I did the unboxing on my TikTok, so if you're not following me over there then you can do. I do some random little mini book reviews, mini book hauls and unboxings and all of that stuff, so that's all over there. But I have 3 books to talk to you about. First one being a little novella, The Pig in the Derby Hat by M.A. Knights. I read this one recently and fell in love with it, so I had to get a physical copy because I do want to reread and annotate it. It is going to be my go-to feel-good book because it's such a short little thing. I'm not going to go into details what this book is about because I do have 2 videos that will be coming up in February that I'm going to be talking about this book, so I'm not going to inundate you with all of that right now. Actually, you'll get that then, but this was very, very good and I'm very pleased that I have a physical copy. Then we have Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. Ignore the... I don't know what I've done. Can you even see that? Yeah, look. Wait. What is this? What did I do? Anyway, this is Dowry of Blood. I've been eyeing this book up for ages. It was originally independently published and I was interested in it then. Then it got picked up by Orbit and I was even more interested, and I kept putting off thinking, oh, I'll wait till the paperback and stuff. No, it's happening now. And the reason why I picked it up now is I am taking part in a fantasy romance readathon that's happening in February. I'm going to do a whole separate TBR video for that because I filmed my February TBR before I heard the announcement for this romantasy readathon. But this is one of the books I'm going to be reading for that. Very, very excited. This is a Dracula's Bride's reimagining almost, and I love it. What I didn't realise is that this is actually the Red Sprayed Edge edition, so I'm very happy with that as well. So yeah, I'm excited. So many people have loved this book and I cannot wait to see what I think. Like I say, more on this book coming in that readathon announcement video. And then the last book I picked up is Shady Hollow by Janu Black, and this is a cozy fantasy mystery book. We have this little town, is it called Shady Hollow? Yes, Shady Hollow. There has been a mystery, a murder mystery that has happened, and we have our character that is going to try and solve it, but our characters are all animals and I'm really excited for it. I've heard nothing but good things, mainly from a reader in Reverie. I'll have a channel linked below. Let's not try and pronounce that again. It's not the morning for it. But I love her channel. It's really nice and cozy and she has lovely book recommendations. So I am very excited to get this one. Ever since she first said about it, I've been wanting to get it. And then she recently got the 2nd and 3rd books and I was like, okay, that's it. I'm gonna get it. So yeah, very excited. A cozy fantasy mystery book sounds so good, and I really am jumping on that cozy fantasy train. I've always loved a good cozy murder mystery, and finding that there are cozy fantasies as well has just been a game changer. I've loved it, and the fact that this is going to combine both, perfect. So there we go, those are the 3 books that I got yesterday. I'm going to go because I've got some videos to edit, I've got work, and I also do want to read more of Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I didn't read any of that yesterday because I was finishing up The Wicked King. We need to get on that. I cannot believe I said to you I was going to be able to fit in The Traitor as well as the other books this week because it's just not happened. Instead, this has turned into a fairy themed reading vlog, which I am not upset about. I am loving this. It's so good. But yeah, I really want to get reading more of that before I go to work as well. So I need to stop talking and actually get on with things so I can do just that. Good morning. I have finished Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies and I loved this book so much. It was absolutely perfect. I've already mentioned about the wintry setting, which I actually really appreciated in this book. Normally I don't like winter at all, just because I hate it. But in this I really liked it, and I loved how Wendell would complain all the time about the cold, and that is just easy to connect to because that's exactly what I would be doing. But it was just really funny. I loved the banter between Emily and Wendell and just seeing their friendship that they have and how relaxed they are with one another, and I really enjoyed it. And then you have the fairy side of things where you see all of the trickster things that Emily's got to try and overcome, how she uses folklore stories to overcome these different things. I'm being really vague, but it just worked. It felt like one big folklore story that was being told, and it was woven in with so many stories from different cultures that I really liked in this. I think it just worked really well, and I loved seeing how Emily draws on this font of knowledge that she has for all of this folklore to weave this story together, and it's just so good. I loved it so much. Found it so fascinating to learn about the fairies and the different ways that they have categorized it in this book, and I don't know, I just think it really worked. I loved the story. I think the pacing was interesting because it starts off in quite a nice slow pace at the beginning, and then towards the end of the book the pacing picks up a bit, but it still works weirdly. Like, I would say, oh, that would really frustrate me because like we lost moments of time, but it actually worked for what was happening to Emily. So I don't know, I think it worked really well. I loved this book and would highly recommend. I'm so pleased that I picked it up and I didn't wait to read it because winter is the perfect time to read this just because of that setting. It was fantastic. There is going to be a second book. I cannot wait to get hold of that book. I just, it's so good. I love it, and I love Emily and Wendell together. Just the way that they banter with one another. It's just so heartwarming. Loved it. Loved everything about this book. It was fantastic. And yesterday I spent the morning with my partner and we tried these pancakes. So there's a new pancake restaurant that's opened up just off Leicester Square. And you know what? It's not all that. It really wasn't. It looked nice. I don't think it was worth the money, which is not something I would normally say. I'm quite happy to pay out for good food. It doesn't bother me at all. I think the amount that was charged for these pancakes isn't worth it, and they were all cold, and it felt like the pancakes had been maybe pre-made, like, but they weren't kept hot, they weren't anything, and we were really hoping, you know, you'd have fresh pancakes, you know, you'd be able to have all this stuff. But even my partner, like, he had sausages and stuff and they were all lukewarm. So it's like, well, that's not what you want. You want to go in and have something warm, especially if like you're doing that. So, I don't know, it didn't work. Everything was stone cold, and it just, unfortunately, that wasn't great. We were really hoping it would be like a new breakfast place that we could go to, but no. But we did have a nice little time after that, wandering around stuff, and then I went to my local town on the way back home and accidentally tripped and fell into Waterstones. What can you do? Now, the book that I was most interested in actually picking up is The Cloisters, and this is by Cathy Hayes, and this is a dark academia book, and look at that cover. Look how stunning that cover is. And I saw this in Forbidden Planet and I wasn't going to pick it up. I was like, I'll wait. And then I got to Waterstones and yeah, look at these edges. They are absolutely stunning. So, I mean, it was an easy thing to then pick up that. Also, the end pages are stunning as well. And this is a book that I missed off my anticipated releases actually, which is a shame because I'm definitely anticipating this book. It's a dark academia, but it's also got tarot cards in it, which, yes please, I'm absolutely loving it. It takes place in New York and it's in a museum of art, and we find that Anne kind of gets caught up in things, and it's really good. I'm really excited. I really want to read this. Love this so much. It looks so stunning and I think it's going to be an amazing book, so I couldn't say no to that. And then a book that I've been thinking about picking up for a little while but kept putting off is The Witcher, The Last Wish. So So this is the first, I think there are 2 sets of short stories before you get into the actual series of the Witcher books. This is the first of those short stories, and I've been umming and ahhing about getting this book for a while. I really liked the Witcher TV series. I haven't played any of the games. And I have been really intrigued by this book, especially because Elliot Brooks talks about this series a lot, about one that she absolutely adores. And I wasn't too keen on any of the paperback book covers, and I was like, I'm not sure, maybe I'll pick it up in a charity shop or something. But then they've had this come out, and I have been umming and ahhing over it ever since it's come out because, I mean, these covers are stunning. I love the covers, but also it is illustrated. So first of all, the end pages are like this, which I love. Under the dust jacket, you have a quote, and I really liked this actually. This one says, "People like to invent monsters and monstrosities, then they seem less monstrous themselves," which, amazing quote. But also it is illustrated. You do have an index of all the illustrations in here, but let me just find you one. Right, that's stunning. I love the illustrations in this, and so I decided to get it. I thought, why not? Especially, I know I literally said how I wasn't going to be buying books, and I didn't buy the box set of the Cruel Prince series and all of this, but yeah, I don't know, I've been umming and ahhing about it for such a long time. I do want to try the Witcher series and see if I'll get on it. I like the fact that this is a short story collection, so I can just get a taste for his writing style, and it's going to be something that I'll pick up a short story and then maybe read this book over the course of a month, so do like 1 a week or something like that. I really do enjoy short stories for that. So yeah, I decided to get it. It was a bit more pricey, it was £20, but actually that's not bad when I can think about how good quality the paper in this is. Like, I'm actually really surprised. It's really thick, good quality paper. You've got all the extra detailings of the illustrations, the under the dust jacket, the end papers, everything in this. And no offence, but some of our hardbacks that you're getting now, you can pay £25 and the paper quality is rubbish. You get nothing under the dust jacket and it just doesn't last as well, whereas this is going to last. It's a good quality. So yeah, I kind of just sold myself on it. I picked it up while I was in there and I just had a little look through, and I really liked all of it. So I think what I'm going to do is read this soon, and then if I like it, I'm going to treat myself to all the hardbacks like this, because I will be so upset if the hardbacks then go out of print. So I'm going to do that, I think. So I'll probably be reading this very soon. Let me know if you've read this one and what you think. Honestly, I seem to be in my hardback era again. I go through phases of what I end up picking up. I think normally backlist books, obviously they're always in paperback, and last year I didn't read any new releases at all. Maybe 1 or 2, but nothing major. And so this year, with all the new releases that are coming out, I don't want to wait. So the ones that I have, the like a second in a series like Hellbent, that will be got in paperback because I have Ninth House in paperback and I like to match it. But I think the others, I'm just gonna go for it. Why not? I know I don't have the space right now, but I will eventually have the space. So until then, we're just gonna have piles of books stacked up everywhere, and that really doesn't upset me. Like, I like the idea of that. So yeah, that's what I've done. I've treated myself to that. I shouldn't have, but I did. But I do want to do this low buy challenge, and from the 1st of February it starts, so from then I'm going to be really strict. So this was kind of like the last hurrah of getting some really nice hardback books, just because, whereas everything else I'm really going to have to weigh up, is it worth the spending of it, because I do want to give that low buy challenge a really good try. Anyway, that's enough chit chat from me. I've got work today, I've got some editing to do before I go to work, and I plan on finishing Queen of Nothing today. I've been so excited to get back to it. I did take a day off yesterday so I could actually just read Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, which obviously we know I love, and then I get to finish Queen of Nothing today. Honestly, this week of just reading Fae and fairy based books has been so good. I've loved it so much. Right, okay, I'm gonna keep rambling at you, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stop. I finished The Queen of Nothing and I absolutely loved it. I loved the ending, loved the way it all wrapped up, and yes, now I get the whole enemies to lovers, and it really did take the whole trilogy to actually get there. I loved that. I loved that it was so slow burn, that you saw the start of it at the end of the first book, the potential for it, and then The Wicked King, there was a lot of back and forth and not really sure, and at the start of Queen of Nothing it's like there's nothing going on, and then by the end of it, it works, and I loved it. I loved how it grew and you really got to know the characters, so it felt that bit more believable rather than how it can normally be, which is done so quickly, and it just doesn't quite capture me the same way. But this I really liked, and I really felt believable. Like I really believed what was going on, and I loved it. I loved all the different things that Jude had to overcome and deal with, the way that she works things out. I just had so much fun with it. Because I actually finished that a little bit earlier while I was at work, I decided to also pick up the novella that's called The Lost Sisters by Holly Black, and this is a tiny little novella that should actually be read after Cruel Prince, and it just gives you a perspective from Taryn, Jude's sister, to why she does what she does in some of the things, and it's just kind of a bit of an explanation. I really liked it, not quite as much as the rest of the books, but it was nice to see Taryn's perspective, to see what route that she took compared to Jude to how to survive within Faerie, and also the way she tackles it. I really liked it. It was an apology. She was talking to you as you being Jude, and this was her apology and her explanation of what happened, and I really liked it. It kind of felt a bit more fairy tale-esque than the other books as well, which I think was really interesting to have that comparison. So yeah, that is the end of this Faerie weekly reading vlog. It was so much fun. I have loved reading all these books about Faerie. It's really given me back my love for fantasy. I do think that last year I definitely had a period of time where I just wasn't in that fantasy mood at all. That wasn't a bad thing because it meant I got to explore other genres, but it's lovely to be back. It's so nice to be back in what was originally my genre, that my go-to, and having something that was just filled with so many fairy creatures, but not the beautiful whimsical fairies that you would get in other books and obviously Disney adaptations and stuff, but actually like folklore type fairies. So yes, some were beautiful, but they were also dangerous to be around, and I loved that you got that more true reflection of folklore in both of these books and handled in very different ways, and I loved that so much. Let me know if you've read any of these books, or for Emily Wilde's, I know it's pretty new, whether it's going to be on your list to read. And do you like books that revolve around the Fae? I really enjoy it. I absolutely love it. Folklore is definitely something I want to focus on more this year, I think. There's so much that can be explored, so I really want to start getting into some of those original folklore stories where all these inspirations have come from. So I think that's going to be the idea. I mean, last year it was definitely focusing a lot more on like Greek myths and stuff, and while yes, I will still be doing that because February is chock full of myths, I would love to explore more of the folklore this year and have Greek myths kind of in the background, because I still enjoy them, but I've read quite a bit of it, so now it would be nice to focus on something like that, and then maybe once I've read a lot to do an actual video based on the folklore from the originals to the different interpretations that we have, and I think that would just be really interesting. So granted, it's going to take me a little while. I mean, this Greek myth one that I'm going to be doing soon, that's been a year in the making because of the amount that I wanted to read and actually put into this, so you have so much more comprehensive stretch of all these different books. Obviously, I'm never going to be able to read them all, but it's great to be able to do that. I don't know why I've gone on this tangent, but it's just an idea that I have that I would now love to start tackling the folklore side of things. Maybe in a year's time we'll have a video all about that, maybe sooner depending on how much I read, but this was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. But I will stop rambling there, so thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, then let's put a fairy in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please do give it that thumbs up, subscribe and comment to let me know that you're here. Social media links will be linked below, and I will of course catch you in the next video.